Ever get those emails that feel just a little too personal? You know the ones
Yep.
like, hey, your name, we've got a deal just for you.
Yeah.
Today we're diving into whether that kind of personalization actually works or if it's just gotten creepy.
It's a question that's more relevant than ever, especially given how much email marketing has evolved.
Right. It feels like everyone and their dog is using your name these days,
Mm-hmm.
but you'd think we'd be used to it by now. I mean, remember back in 2018 when that massive study came out saying that personalized subject lines were basically marketing gold?
Absolutely. That study sent shockwaves through the industry.
For good reason. I remember everyone scrambling to add first names to everything. But for today's deep dive, you brought some fascinating new research that revisits that very study.
I did, and it directly replicates the 2018 research, which makes the findings even more compelling.
Okay, so for those of us who weren't glued to our marketing dashboards back in 2018, can you give us a quick recap of what the original study found?
Absolutely. In a nutshell, they found that simply adding the recipient's first name to the subject line led to a significant increase in open rates, a whopping 20%.
20%. No wonder everyone jumped on that bandwagon.
And it didn't stop there. They also saw a 31% increase in leads generated, people actually taking that next step to engage.
So we're talking about a pretty dramatic impact from one little tweak.
Yeah.
But that was 2018. The internet moves fast. What did this new research want to find out?
The million-dollar question. Does this tactic still work? Have we reached peak personalization, or has it lost its shine? That's what we're going to explore for you today.
All right, let's unpack this for you. We've got the 2018 study that basically said first names are magic. But now it's 2023 and things have changed. What did the researchers do differently this time around?
So they didn't just repeat the 2018 study beat for beat. They actually designed two separate experiments, which I found really insightful.
Two experiments. Okay, now you've got my attention. What was the thinking there?
It seems they wanted to see if the effectiveness of personalized subject lines varied across different audiences and contexts for their first experiment. They partnered with a university alumni club that was sending emails promoting a career platform.
Makes sense. Keeps in line with the original study's focus on a younger demographic, right?
Precisely, but for the second experiment, they switched gears entirely and targeted politicians.
Politicians. Wow, talk about a change of pace. From college grads to people running for office. Why the drastic shift?
Well, it seems they were working with a startup that wanted feedback on social media tools for professionals, and these days, politicians are about as active as it gets on social media.
True enough. But I imagine the tone of those emails had to be a bit different, right?
You're absolutely right. They recognize that simply using first names might come across as too informal in a political context. So instead of going with something like, John, check out this platform, they opted for a more formal approach using titles and surnames. Think along the lines of, Mr. Smith, your insights are needed.
So they tailored the level of personalization to the expectations of the audience. Clever. Okay, so we have two experiments, each testing the same basic idea, but with a slightly different spin.
Yeah.
What did they find? Did those personalized subject lines still have their magic touch? So did those personalized subject lines still work their magic in 2023? Give us the good, the bad, and the unexpected.
Well, get ready for a plot twist, because the research uncovered a surprising reversal. What worked in 2018 no longer does.
You're kidding. So all those emails I'm still getting that are like, my name, you won't believe this deal, are basically pointless.
Pretty much. The 2023 study found that using the recipient's first name in the subject line no longer had a statistically significant effect on whether people opened the email or clicked through.
Wow, so much for that 20% open rate boost. It sounds like maybe we've all just become immune to the first name tactic. But you said they did two experiments right. One with students, one with politicians. Did anything change when they switched it up to surnames?
That's where it gets even more interesting. While first names didn't move the needle for either group, using surnames with the politicians actually showed a small positive effect.
No way. So you're telling me Dear Mr. N's last name might actually work better these days than, hey, first name. What's the logic there?
The researchers offered a couple of explanations. First, they pointed to the simple fact of overuse. Think about it. How often do you encounter your name awkwardly inserted into things online? It's everywhere.
Ugh, don't get me started on those personalized song lyrics in ads. Talk about cringeworthy.
Exactly. And when something is everywhere, it loses its impact. It becomes white noise. The novelty wears off.
Makes sense. What was the other explanation?
They also suggested a potential generational shift might be at play. Younger audiences, especially those university students in the first experiment, have grown up with personalized marketing. They're savvy to the tricks, so maybe it just doesn't feel as novel or persuasive to them anymore. This suggests that younger consumers have developed a kind of personalization fatigue, tuning out messages that feel mass-produced.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. So if
Perfect.
slapping our names on everything isn't the magic bullet it used to be, what should we be focusing on instead?
The study emphasized that it's not about abandoning personalization altogether, but about evolving our approach. Instead of just surface level personalization, like using someone's name, it's about demonstrating a deeper understanding of their needs and interests.
So less about tricking people into opening our emails, more about building genuine relationships.
Exactly. Think about the kind of emails you actually enjoy receiving. They probably offer something valuable or relevant to you.
Right. Totally. They feel personal, not just personalized.
Precisely. And that's a crucial distinction. The study actually highlights other research suggesting that personalization that goes beyond just someone's name tends to be far more effective. Think about things like tailoring content based on someone's past purchases or expressed interests or even their values. That's where the real magic happens.
So the key takeaway here is that authenticity matters, maybe even more than we realize.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we crave connection. And if you want your message to resonate, it needs to feel human.
I love that. So the next time you see an email with your name plastered all over it, remember, it might be a sign that they're trying a little too hard. Sometimes the most effective approach is the one that feels the most genuine. What do you think makes an email stand out to you? Let us know. That's all for today's deep dive into the ever-evolving world of email marketing. Until next time, happy emailing.